creators of Relevant Magazine. This is the Relevant Podcast.
Can't keep on losing you over complications. Gone too soon. Wait, we was just hanging. I can't seem to hold on to. Dang, the people that know me best, the key that I won't forget. Too soon, I can't keep on losing you. Can't keep 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 losing.
It's a week of Friday, November 4th, 2016, and it's the Relevant Podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and this week's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is a leading provider of premium digital, spoken audio information and entertainment on the internet.
I think Audible's an important service, actually.
Audible content includes an unmatched selection of audiobooks and other audio products, and users can sign up as an Audible listener, which gives them book credits and access to short programs now playing in channels each month for a low monthly fee. Customers can download their choices and then access them on their iPhone, Android device, their Fire tablet, their iPod, or other MP3 player. There's a lot of options there.
But I think it's really important. There are people that just learn better by listening.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like I wish I was a student in the age of Audible. I would have listened to way more of my books.
You wouldn't have lied during your book report. You wouldn't have used Cliff Notes.
So, probably would have done that.
So speaking of book
also.
report, my Audible selections tend to skew toward the nonfiction variety, the biography and nonfiction. Mm-hmm. I don't have a mind for fancy. I like my information in my
just
books.
The facts, ma'am.
Just the facts.
I don't have a mind for fancy.
but I'm trying to
Quote
stretch
that.
myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've never finished To Kill a Mockingbird. I've started it a few times.
Oh, wow.
Never finished it. So I'm listening to it on Audible right now. It's read by Sissy Spacek.
Sissy Spacek, by the way, is a fantastic actress. She's in Bloodline, which is a great
And she also
modern
stars in
drama.
the To Kill a Mockingbird audio book on Audible.
Yeah, I was going to say that alone makes me want to reread or re-listen to Kill a Mockingbird to hear it from her voice.
She captures the southern charm.
Oh, yeah.
She really does.
Scout.
Yeah. Audible is offering Relevant Podcast listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audible.com/relevant and browse the selection of audio programs. Download your title for free and just start listening. It's that easy. That's audible.com/relevant. Like I said, I'm your host, Cameron, and here with me in our Orlando studios, Eddie Big Cat Koffolds.
Go Cubs. Cubs win.
Over there on the ones and twos, our illustrious producer, my brother, Chandler Strang.
Hello.
On the Skype line from Loverland, Virginia, Jesse Carey.
Hello.
And joining us, sitting in for the whole show today, Chelsea Steele is here with us in the studio.
Hello, everybody.
Joy is off on assignment. No, actually, we're recording at a weird time. That Joy was unable to make it this weird time, and so Chelsea...
Did you say off on assignment just as a default thing to say, but then you realized, oh no, I don't need to say that.
I don't need to say it. It's our fault that she's not on, not hers.
She's off on a... What? She's not gathering stories.
Listen, half of my
like 4 in the
podcast
morning
shtick
there.
is just pre-programmed things that come out of my mouth.
I know. I totally get it.
Yeah. So welcome, Chelsea.
Thank you.
You're wearing overalls.
Yeah, I'm feeling really good about it. They're really multi-purpose. They're like cargo shorts for your whole body.
So did anybody, before you came in, did anybody give you advice on like, you're in the whole show, there's going to be 400,000 people listening to you. Did anybody give you advice?
Did you even know there were that many people listening?
I
And
think,
judging?
yeah, Cameron's referenced that before.
So we should let the listeners get to know her.
Right.
We met her a couple weeks ago, but the internet's clamoring.
When you were a kid, what did you think you were going to do when you grew up?
A variety of things. Most children, I think, have 5 jobs they think they're going to be famous for.
Real quick, Chelsea, did you envision a future where you got to wear overalls to work?
I think that was a top priority, so I
Okay.
am living my dream.
So what did you think you were going to do when you were an adult?
I think when I was younger, I wanted to be a clown and also a ballerina and also a veterinarian.
Okay.
And
well,
I am none of those things.
You are not any of those things.
Can I say only one of those sounds like a viable profession to me?
Yes.
But-
Like
Clown.
that's 2 hobbies
Clowning.
and a job.
Clowning has really taken off this year.
It's been a big year for clowns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Chelsea, let me ask you this. I asked this to Eddie his first show. It's first thing that comes to mind. You can't give it any thought. Spirit animal. And you can't say wolf because everyone says that. Go.
I think my spirit animal is a puppy, like a dog before it turns 1 year old.
Look at you. And now here you are. Big deal.
Living the dream.
Puppy spirit animal.
Yeah, they're loyal, they're playful.
You have a pineapple tattoo on your wrist. Was that a real
do.
emotional decision for you?
No, not really. Yeah, I kind of just decided to do it when I was out in California.
Is it
What,
because
what,
pineapple
what
means
does the
like
pineapple represent?
Hold on, can I guess?
Yeah.
It's like the hospitality thing.
No, she's just into SpongeBob.
Yeah, I just really love who lives in a pineapple under this.
She's just super into like citrusy things and
Yeah.
pineapple. Why not?
Well, her personality is very acidic.
Yeah.
very
Tart.
very thorny.
She's all tart. Yeah.
It's like super spiritual if y'all want to get
Yes,
into it.
we do.
Let's just
Yeah.
Yeah,
get
let's hear it.
Can you turn on Mike Smith in the background, Michael W. Smith?
Okay, what's the spiritual significance of a pineapple?
Well,
Fruits of the spirit.
I became a Christian when I was 19 years old. And shortly thereafter, I went to a church that was encouraging everybody to like engage with the Lord and try to hear from him in a way that's unique to you, which I loved because growing up not in a Christian household, hearing people say like the Lord's voice was very confusing for me. So it was nice to have people kind of prompt like different ways that the Lord speaks to people.
Oh, that makes sense.
I was saying I get the pineapple now.
And someone was like, the Lord speaks in fruits sometimes. Fruit of the Spirit.
Carmen Miranda was an amazing evangelist.
Wait. Is that really the end of the story?
No.
The fruit of the spirit? Oh, I was like, that is a terrible
no way.
tattoo.
This
Keep going.
this woman said,
I'm not going to lie, Chelsea. I'm having trouble connecting the dots here.
I'll bring it home real short.
Yeah, I'm just messing.
So this woman said that sometimes the Lord will speak in pictures or like images in your mind, which makes sense to me. I'm a very imaginative person. And so I just asked the Lord to show me a picture of what he was doing in my life. And then I had this image in my mind of a pineapple, and God was cutting off all of the spikes on the outside.
Oh, that was not a joke.
Not because he wanted to get like to take anything away from me, but he was getting to like the heart of who I was.
Wow.
So there you have it, folks.
Nice tattoo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thankfully, it was like
Yeah.
a nice looking fruit.
Yeah, gosh. What if it was like a pumpkin?
All right, everybody just thinks you're really into pumpkin stuff.
that was way more information than I was jokingly thinking we were going to get.
Chelsea and the
Sorry.
Lord and everything.
Yeah.
We're on it. Capital L, Lord.
Thorns. It's all about thorns. Basically, that needs to be our goal. Within 3 minutes of any new person coming on the show, get to a deep, introspective, spiritual.
You know, I don't think
You're
any of
welcome.
us have
Vulnerability.
ever shared like
Yeah,
anything.
you
that
you
just
have
shared.
Chelsea. I've been doing this show. I've been doing this show for more than a decade now, and you've opened up more about your spiritual life and your spiritual journey than I even close to anything I have in more than a decade of doing this.
That's
Wow.
true.
Pineapple wins.
Thank
But
you.
we know about a lot of his theories.
Do you like the taste of pineapple?
Which
love
I can get into if you
Yeah.
want to hear.
Thank the Lord.
Thank God.
Some interesting political leanings as well, if anyone's got an hour.
Well, we have a great show in store for you today. Coming up, actually, it's election day while this show is out. So this is the last time we have to talk about politics.
Thank-
Oh my God.
We don't even have to talk about
Thank
politics.
Thank God.
Thank
Yeah.
that Lord
Thank that Lord.
that she spoke of earlier in her story.
It's the pineapple of episodes today. I don't know what that means. Coming up later, filmmaker
you do.
Scott Derrickson is joining us. He's the director of the new epic, huge blockbuster Doctor Strange that's coming out, the Marvel movie. He's a horror director and he's a Christian.
Yeah.
And so it's a
Gotta watch that
fascinating
word.
What, horror?
Yeah.
He's a horror director.
You don't use two syllables when you say it.
Yeah,
though.
you got to hit
you
that H
should.
hard at the beginning. Horror director.
Horror.
Yeah, there's an
The
extra
second R is
OR
very
in there.
important.
I was trying to roll my R.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway, he is a horror director that is also a Christian, and he's directing this epic blockbuster, Doctor Strange. We have a feature with him in the new issue of Relevant, but part of the interview we did, we thought we'd bring on the show today. So
Yeah. And well, while you're listening to this, it's probably, I think it's a safe bet for me to say it's the biggest movie in the world right now. I think when it actually opened internationally a couple days before its U.S. opening, and it's already setting crazy records. It's going to be one of the biggest Marvel movies so far.
And it has like 91% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, it's the nexus of like critical and commercial success. It's
Well, people have been sending me pictures of their Cineplex as they're walking to their theaters, like those little LED marquees that they put in front of the doors, to tell you where the movies are. Well, apparently there's a character limit, and several theaters just put Dr. Strang on there, and people have been tweeting the
That's
pictures.
awesome.
Yeah,
Wow.
so maybe it is about our podcast in some sort of illusion. Also coming up later, Gungor joins us. Michael and Lisa Gungor have a new album out, and it's fantastic. And they're friends of the show and have been on many times performing stuff for us. They're not performing today, but they're going to talk to us about the new album. We'll get to experience it with them. So that's kind of fun.
Love them.
There you go. It's an awesome show.
Yeah.
Well, it's time for our look back at what happened this week in culture and entertainment. There's a lot of stuff that went down. It's time for...
In case you missed it.
Oh, in case you missed it, apparently there was a baseball game. That's not on my run sheet. I just want to acknowledge the fact that the Cubs won. Congratulations to Chicago.
Go Cubs,
That
go.
was a real that was, I don't care. Everybody knows.
Go Cubs, go. Go
Yeah, what was-
Cubs, go.
Yeah, that was the whole song.
Do you know the creepiest thing? So the game, if you weren't watching, goes into extra innings, right? That means it's tied in the ninth.
I think literally everybody knows.
Well,
this.
okay. So
Yeah.
just setting context, there was a tweet that resurfaced on Twitter about that time, and when it went into the 10th inning, that someone tweeted back in 2014 that said Indians versus Cubs, 2000 World Series, game will go into extra innings, then the world will end. That was tweeted in 2014, and it said in 7 games.
Whoa.
Dude, that's
Super
crazy.
creepy. Super creepy.
The only thing I know about baseball is when someone is in a pickle and they are stuck between two bases.
Okay, I didn't even know that.
I don't even know that that's a definite.
Oh, that's
just
a pickle.
you can
A
be in
pickle's a thing.
That's a term, yeah.
It's always
if
a
they're
thing.
like throwing the ball back and the person's running back, and you're like, oh, he's in a pickle.
Well, I mean, that's a common phrase for a lot of people who are stuck between. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not
but I mean, I
exclusive
think
to
it is.
baseball.
I think it is. The nomenclature is a pickle.
Thank you, Jesse.
Because
So- so the
in
announcer would
baseball
be
practice
like-
growing up, you would practice the pickle, which is like the most fun thing. Pickle practice. Pickle practice. Like pickle practice day was
I
the
didn't play
highlight of Little League practice, baseball practice.
I played baseball for 1 year. It was my 10th grade year.
Okay.
And my mom came to the first game, and we were in the 7th inning or something like that. I don't know, we weren't. We were in like the 4th
Yeah.
inning. And we were, in the dugout, and my mom comes down to the dugout, like the back of the dugout, there was
Yeah.
holes in it. And she was
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm leaving.
Oh.
And I was like, why? It's my first game. And I'm 10th grade. She's like, this is like watching paint dry. And she she left.
Hates baseball.
Hates it.
Wow.
She left. She didn't even support her own son. And from that game on, the rest of the season, I just drive myself to the games, and
I
my
don't
parents
blame
never
her.
showed up.
Someday we have to do a supercut of every story you've ever told about your family and just kind of let everybody. It could be like the new Netflix documentary of like making a camera.
Making a camera.
Like the intro shot is a slow-mo shot of Cameron's mom walking up to a hole in a dugout fence, like, the formative years.
This is boring.
This is you bore me. I'm leaving now. Yeah, there you go. So that's baseball. Okay, in case you missed it, so we've been talking about the Wrinkle in Time film adaptation. Huge $100 million budget. First film that big to be directed by a woman of color. The director is Ava DuVernay, who did Selma and 13th. So the cast is coming together. So Chris Pine is in it. Oprah's in it. We know this. Now, Reese Witherspoon is in it. Mindy Kaling is in it. Now, Zach Galifianakis is joining the cast.
Okay, I have a theory
Yeah,
here.
so-
Can I give my theory here? They're casting this huge, like Cameron said, $100 million movie. If you're familiar with the novel, Madeline L'Engle novel, it's largely considered one of the most influential works of like Christian science fiction ever written. They're casting this movie, and
Hold on, let's punctuate that correctly. It's not Christian Science fiction.
it's not.
It's not the Christian Scientist. Yeah, it's Christian science fiction.
I need to reread.
Yeah.
I need to
Just
get this on
wanna
Audible
enunciate.
and reread it because
horror.
Although I have a theory about Zach
Well,
Galifianakis.
real quick, here, let me lay this out.
Oh, yeah.
The studio is casting. They're like, we want this to be a hit. Who can we go to that are curates cultural talent like no one else? What outlet can we look at? Like, who has put these people front and center? Like, where?
The big casting. Reese Witherspoon, cover of Relevant.
No problem.
Co-star Mindy Kaling, cover of Relevant. Now we need a guy. Let's look at the cover of Relevant. Zach Galifianakis.
No problem.
A couple years
Yeah.
ago.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
All three of them have been on our covers. So up next, I guess we're going to have, who else is going to join the cast?
We'll
then,
have
Jesse?
Jack Houston. We'll have
Probably John Foreman. John Foreman, I'm sure.
Mace.
Mace, definitely Mace. Moby is going to do the soundtrack. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we need some sort of royalty or at least something in the credits here for casting.
Yeah. Just something. Just a big thank you to Relevant for doing our job
exactly.
for us.
I think Zach Galifianakis, though. I think Zach, he could go the way of Robin Williams in terms of acting. Like his whole shtick, his whole stand-up thing is all acting. If you watch Baskets, he's got real acting chops.
real chops.
Yeah.
He's real thoughtful. I bet he's a great dramatic actor that like in a couple of years we'll look back and be like, remember when he was just like silly and funny all the time and in The Hangover, but he's really amazing?
His story is actually sad, and he has such depth, a lot like Robin Williams. I mean, honestly, that parallel I think would be it's the sad clown thing.
Yeah.
I mean, did you ever see that live? Before he kind of broke out, he had that Netflix comedy,
Live at the Purple Onion. Holy smokes.
Where it's like Andy Kaufman-esque, where you don't know what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
And he goes and he like loses it on stage and stuff. And you realize like that is actually... There is some truth in that comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
good.
But
powerful.
like when you watch Tracy Morgan, you really realize that like, oh, Tracy actually is kind of a loose cannon. But Zach knows everything he's doing. He gets the
Absolutely.
whole
And that's why I say
shtick.
Kaufman-esque.
Yeah, that's right.
I think that's what makes the comedian the sad clown is maybe they're too aware of themselves.
Yeah, that's right. They're not just...
He
Go
had a
ahead,
really
Jesse, sorry.
formative experience on that early MTV show, or it was one of those shows he did early on in his career where it was like one of those, like, it was when prank shows were really big, and he would do, it was sort of like Daily Show correspondence where he would go and the pitch would be he's doing like a news story and he's a reporter, but just set people up to say ridiculous, dumb things and make them look foolish. And I remember reading this interview with him back in the day where he talked about one of the subjects was some really flamboyant like preacher. And he was going to go and do kind of one of those fake news stories and just, edit it to make the guy look kind of dumb and get laughs, relatively harmless. But the guy ended up opening up to him during like what was supposed to be like a fake interview about how his son passed away, and that really informed his faith and his ministry. And Zach Galifianakis said he just dropped the whole act and just talked to the guy. And after that, he realized he doesn't want to do like mean-spirited comedy. That's not what he wants to do.
Okay, well, in case you missed it, this week, a documentary came out. MTV did a little mini documentary on Kirk Franklin, where he responded to the criticism that he's gotten from the faith community about working with artists like Kanye. And so I started seeing this make the rounds on kind of Facebook and stuff last Sunday, and it got a lot of traction.
Yeah.
Franklin said that it was Kanye West and Chance the Rapper who sought him out to collaborate, not the other way around, and that Chance even said he was raised on gospel music and felt it was important to incorporate it into his album. He goes on to say that he personally feels that his purpose is to make God part of the cultural conversation. He says, quote, "I'm called to make sure that cats are talking about God on the block now. Here is a..."
It was like a cool way of saying people.
Okay,
it
thank you.
wasn't actually cats.
Men wearing fedoras on the street corner. Be like, hey,
are
cats,
playing
the
baseball.
daddios.
Yeah.
Hey, here's a clip of Kirk Franklin on this MTV documentary.
2, 3, 4. Being raised in church and being raised in hip hop, for me, became something that was very natural for the two to come together. 5, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Some of the comments that I've had about who I work with, that's kind of been the narrative of my career. In the 90s, it was with Salt. And, with R. Kelly and Bono and Mary J. And, that's kind of been a constant in my life. I got a lot of criticism from a lot of Christians for working with Kanye. And a lot of people, question my integrity, question my spirituality, question my Christianity. It challenged me. It is very painful. Some people responded like I was on there, twerking and, cussing and, just turning up. But I'm doing me. If we humble ourselves.
Yeah, it was a really well-made little documentary.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was cool to see that MTV did that.
Yeah, and he's a compelling character. Like, I don't mean character in a bad way. I mean like personality and persona.
A cat.
Yeah, he's a cool
compelling
cat. Yeah, he's a cool cat. But he occupies such an interesting place in culture right now, especially hip hop culture, because there are a lot. He's not lying. There are a lot of artists that are seeking him out, and he's a big voice in this sort of hip hop revival that's going on.
Yeah. Hey, another music news. In case you missed it, it came out this week that Bob Dylan may soon release a bootleg album of his Christian music.
Can't wait.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I love Bob Dylan. I'm going to see him in concert here.
I didn't know he's still alive. Really?
He is alive. He just won the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah.
No, they can't find him to give it to him.
They found him.
They found him?
He
it, yeah.
acknowledged it finally.
So back between 1979 and 1981, he released songs. They call it his Christian, stint
Phase.
phase, right? He grew up Jewish, came to a kind of a Christian belief system, and then after about 81, he stopped talking about it.
Yeah.
We published a book back in 2005, I think, talking the spiritual journey of Bob Dylan, and he actually the author lays out, kind of chronicles his spiritual journey and everything he's said about his beliefs and faith, and there really is no evidence that he is not a believer any longer.
Yeah.
He just stopped talking about it and singing about it.
Right.
And so it just kind of faded away. Anyway, many of the songs on the albums, like Slow Train Coming and Saved, have deeply biblical themes. Titles like In the Garden, Solid Rock, Precious Angel, Gotta Serve Somebody. So a source close to Dylan told Rolling Stone this week that the new versions of songs will be unlike the ones that most Dylan fans are familiar with. The quote was, the gospel is a lot of stuff that people ignored. Bob continued to tweak the gospel stuff on the road for a couple of years. It kept mutating. And so the album that they're going to release now is bootlegs of those live
Man, I can't wait.
things. So
It's
I think it's gonna be awesome.
It's one of the most interesting and underappreciated chapters in like music history. There was a time when Bob Dylan would collaborate with Keith Green during that period. I mean, Bob Dylan was during that period very vocal, and if you read some of the lyrics to those songs, I mean, they're overtly Christian songs. It's not like he's alluding to something. They're almost hymns.
Yeah. Dylan was one of those ones. I wasn't raised on Dylan and the Beatles and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've gone back to the Beatles, as you know,
Yeah.
and I'm not a fan because
Yeah.
music has gotten better. I get that the Beatles were formative and that everything that's come after the Beatles, that they were a game changer and that
Yes.
everybody's built on the foundation that they created. I feel like
Yeah. And I don't agree, but we fought this fight,
Yeah.
and I just realized, you know what? You're just going to be
Just
wrong.
own it. Just own it, man.
yeah, I'm owning the fact that I don't get the Beatles.
Right.
So likewise, though, I kind of just clumped Dylan into that category of like old important music that I wouldn't like.
Yeah.
I'm at the record shop a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I ended up finding a used, the best of Bob Dylan from like 1982 or something like that. So it was kind of the core of his catalog. Put it on, and it goes from kind of early Dylan all the way through. I was blown away.
Yeah,
he's unbelievable.
Yeah, he really is.
I mean, the music is just fantastic, including the Jesus stuff. I mean, that era that is kind of ignored was still fantastic.
Yeah, he's like unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's a real like cultural icon.
Yeah, and I'm excited to hear these live recordings to see how they have mutated, and how he did evolve them over the years. Because he's famous for reinventing even his old music.
Well, I think the mutation is a lot. He does a lot of different voices. I think I think there's a lot of like kind of sci-fi illusion.
He does one all in falsetto, which is a little unsettling. It's very high and it's very gravelly.
And there's no band. There's no band. Just a single dobro player.
In case you missed it, Jim Gaffigan is returning to TV. So, the FX critically acclaimed show Fargo, the TV adaptation of the Coen Brothers movie?
yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So it's Ewan McGregor's in it, and it's a spinoff of the film. Jim Gaffigan is going to be in the next season.
He's great.
It's dark and it's violent at times, and it's like Galifianakis, a dramatic turn for the actor.
He's got the right like voice for it. He's kind of got that kind of northern
Oh,
voice.
that's true.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to write, direct, produce the show. He just is in it, which I'm sure is a lot of work, but more of a regular job.
Yeah. So if you need your Gaffigan fix, you can see him on the road. He's coming to the Hard Rock on March 3rd and
he'll be
Sands
a-
Casino.
And it'll be a Giggles.
Yeah, exactly.
This weekend.
Or you can tune into Fargo this fall on FX. Yeah. In case you missed it this week, Mila Kunis. I said it like I was confident in how I pronounced it.
You said it right.
I did?
I think
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, there you go. Mila Kunis is speaking out about Hollywood's objectification of women. She penned a powerful op-ed for the site A+ this week, explaining how she's been objectified over the course of her career and how she's taking a stand against Hollywood's gender bias problem. We talked about the gender wage gap last week, so this connects to the conversation we had last week. But here's what she wrote. "You'll never work in this town again. A cliche to be sure, but also what a producer threatened when I refused to pose semi-naked on the cover of a men's magazine to promote their film. I was no longer willing to subject myself to a naive compromise that I had previously been willing to. What this producer may never realize is that he spoke aloud the exact fear every woman feels when confronted with gender bias in the workplace. I'm done compromising. Even more so, I'm done with being compromised. So from this point forward, when I am confronted with one of these comments, subtle or overt, I will address them head on. Kunis explained that she's started her own production company, is now refusing projects that, quote, devalue the contributions and worth of hardworking women. She also said that by speaking out, she hopes that, quote, women in the workplace feel a little less alone and more able to push back for themselves. Powerful.
Mila Kunis. Go for it.
Yeah.
Mila
Support your local
not
gal pal.
Mia. It's one L. It's not a.
Yes.
There's no
Mila.
twists in it. There's no rolling R's either. Horror. Mila Kunis, everyone.
That's cool.
It's pretty
Good for
awesome.
her. Yeah.
Hey, and in case you
Yeah.
missed it, again, not in my notes. We're done on the official stuff, but I added this
Right,
in there.
right.
Vine's gone.
Hard day.
Hard day.
Hard day for people who
RIP.
really, really enjoy themselves. Actually, I liked Vine of all of them.
I
thought
actually
it was
did too. But a great Vine is like something that no other platform could ever create.
It's true.
But
Yeah.
there's a lot of junk to find that great one.
Yeah.
Well,
Right?
that's why
Yeah.
you look up the compilation videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
Someone else already finds the good ones for you, and then just puts them all together.
As good as like the compilations ones are, and it's easy to get down that wormhole and watch Vine compilations, there's something about the Vine form where you're watching the same one on a loop
Over and over again.
and over and over, and it's funny every single time. Like it's just that short clip. Like there's one of like a Macy's parade, and Squidward from SpongeBob is on there, and the guys on the sideline who are filming it were like, yo Squidward, dab for me, and he's like waving and just does a real quick dab, and to see Squidward do it that quickly and then go back to waving is unsettling, weird, and hilarious every single. And that's how great Vines are. Like as soon as you get the laugh, it starts over and you get it again.
You guys were talking this morning about
Yeah.
the Vine, about the funeral, about the dead
pastor.
dove.
Yeah, I watched it just today. The pastor releases the dove at a funeral, but he held it a little too tight. And as soon as he releases it, the dove hits the ground. And as soon as it hits the ground, it starts over again.
And what's funny is like that came out a couple years ago, and it was just a clip on YouTube, which is longer. So there's more of the funeral talk beforehand, and then after the dove falls to the ground, there's more. The 6 seconds the version is so much better than the real version. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's whatever he says, and then you hear like everybody says and then it starts over again. It's great.
But in a real practical sense, like, because this kind of happened because Twitter is not doing super well and they're hedging their bets, right? They laid off.
Well, here's the problem. So Twitter can make $2 billion a year. It's a business that will bring in $2 billion a year. The
like
problem
advertising.
with Twitter is that the investors who invested in Twitter valued it because of their investments. They overinvested, and it is valued at a company that should be bringing in an infinite amount of money, 10 billion, 40 billion.
Oh, wow.
And it can only, in the eyes of the investors, bring in 2 billion. So therefore, it's a bad investment. They won't get their money back. They want to sell their shares. Everything is crumbling. But it is a viable business that can bring in $2 billion a year.
That's wild.
But because it was overinvested, it's going to fall apart.
So they're closing Vine. Is there like a replacement for it? Because it feels like it was pretty popular, wasn't it?
It was very popular, but there was no point where it will ever make money.
Oh.
It was just to build audience.
Because like that's why Instagram works, right? Because you'll see ads every once in a while.
Yeah, and there was a slow but long-term plan to monetize Instagram. So, there's two ways to create a business or launch a business in the tech era. One is to build a business that brings in revenue that sustains itself. And it's just a viable business. The
Like
other
Uber,
model
Airbnb or something. Yeah.
Yeah, the other model is you actually don't want to do anything that brings in revenue because that revenue level will define your value. So they actually try to only create businesses that build large audiences that have no business model, so they can then flip the business, and they are creating a business to sell a business.
Yeah.
And so they create platforms like Vine and others that have no revenue, but they can say we have 100 million people. A company will value, say, I want to acquire 100 million people, and I'll do something with them. And it's not my problem. It's not Vine's problem. So now that there are no buyers for Twitter because of the valuation issue, things like Vine are not sustainable.
Yeah.
And so it's dead. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's kind of the problem with like venture capitalist culture, and where every company feels like it needs to go public to raise funds instead of just being content making money hands over fist. They feel like they have to make tens of. It's like the line from The Social Network. You know what's not cool? $1 million, but $1 billion. Like basically that mindset has ruined a lot of tech companies because they're trying to make unsustainable amounts of money. At some point, like it was interesting this past week, Facebook announced their quarterly earnings and they were really strong. They outpaced expectations, but the value of the stock dropped after because Mark Zuckerberg was on an investor call, and this investor call cost Mark Zuckerberg immediately like $3 billion because he said something along the lines of, at some point we're hitting the plateau of users. Like we're getting to the point where we're so ubiquitous that we're not going to be able to serve ads to more people. We're hitting that point. And even a company like Facebook, like that can have their value overinflated because of investment culture and IPO culture.
All right, that'll do it for
In case you missed it.
Stay tuned. Up next, Slices.
Monuments were awful events. I flew by in a daze on the freeway. You can whine about different times, but me, I'm fine with the mirrors far away. For the mills in the valleys to function, rain gonna fall on the hills waving high. Wash the blood in the guts to the ocean. Feed the pike, making everything alright. So tonight, dance and cry. The dead alive.
You're listening to The Shins. The song is Dead Alive. Probably Halloween reference.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the podcast, you heard Dang by Mac Miller featuring Anderson .Paak. Dang. There you go. Good song.
Anderson .Paak is so good.
Okay, it's time for Slices. What do you have, Jesse?
Okay, so there was a new interesting report from Derrickson Consumer Lab, and they wanted to find out how viewing habits of the American public has changed recently because of the advent of VOD and YouTube, and just, you know, the way people are consuming video content and TV is changing. They found that the average person in America spends 23 minutes a day trying to find something to watch. So that's just not scrolling through your TV.
What? Come
That's
on.
also
Absolutely not.
no. That's also like going through your Netflix to try to land on something, flipping around the channels, looking for new content on YouTube. According to their study, you guys sound surprised by this. I honestly don't, because there will be nights where
Next
I spend.
slice. This is junk science. This is your liberal propaganda.
Warmer. No, there's no way. There's no way. 23 minutes? That's almost a whole show.
I feel like I
think-
spend maybe more time than that.
Looking for something to
Yeah.
watch?
I definitely spend more
Sometimes
time than that.
we
When I go
spend-
home and I plopped out on the couch, I turn on the TV. If it's a certain time where I know there's no shows on, I'll hit the DVR button and there's the shows. Boom. It's like 7 seconds. I'm not going to.
Wow.
23 minutes.
Yeah, maybe not 23 minutes, but I definitely take a while to find like new shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'm
Like
a
more
creature of habit. I
more
don't look
like
for new
obscure.
shows.
Well,
Yeah.
Again, this
I
is
watch
an
6
average.
shows.
So it would take someone that has, like Cameron, you take 7 seconds, but also someone who spends like an hour a day just scrolling through Netflix or looking at their cable
What kind of
guide.
life is that?
There are plenty of nights. There are plenty of nights where especially if I'm alone, where it'll be like 45 minutes of trying to decide what I'm going to watch. Like scrolling through, like saving this one. Maybe I'll watch this. Or then I turn something off and start looking again. According to their calculations, the average U.S. viewer will spend 1.3 years of their life switching around channels just looking for something to find to watch.
Wow.
Obviously, this has increased dramatically. They also say that 40% of the American viewing public watches YouTube videos every single day, which I don't, again, find that all that surprising.
2 YouTube videos a week. I watch the SNL promos. That's all I watch.
Like the whole week or just on YouTube?
I do
I
not
mean, you
watch.
watch television.
No, I don't watch YouTube.
Right. No. But
Anything you guys post. Because that's
Thank
basically,
you.
it's all curated for me.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
true.
all right,
Yeah,
that's
there
the
you go.
funniest thing on the internet I can see.
Jesse spends 2 hours a day looking for things, basically for Eddie to watch.
Right.
I was gonna say-
it's like a codependent.
If there was some like way you could like in like Black Mirror or something, like rewind and look back at your whole life and see how you spent time, I will have spent
Oh gosh.
half of a lifetime finding funny stuff for other people to watch on video, some of which is totally hit or miss, and that was just a bad call. Like how much of my life was spent watching YouTube videos that other people didn't think was funny. It's an interesting calling.
So sobering stat.
Yeah, but
I also don't think any good movie watching decisions come after looking for more than 20 minutes.
Like what? Why have you found yourself watching terrible things because you're just like, I'm sick of
You're just
looking and
settling,
I'm
I
just going to
guess.
settle on this?
I once may or may not have endured a few minutes of Christian Mingle because my friend Lauren and I spent about 30 minutes looking on Netflix for a movie we would both enjoy.
And so you didn't find anything on Netflix, so you're thinking, I'm tired of browsing Netflix. I'll browse Christian men profiles.
No, we watched the movie Christian Mingle.
You know,
okay.
Chandler, you know that movie.
You know all about it.
I didn't know that
I didn't.
existed.
I
Yeah,
forgot. I
right,
have the
Chandler.
DVD.
Okay.
I
I
have
had no idea it existed.
I have an unopened
It's in your
DVD.
Netflix
I
queue
got it
right
as
now.
a white elephant gift like a year or two ago.
Wow.
I need to find that thing.
I've
We should
definitely
watch it.
heard
We could do a
this.
relevant screening of Christian
We
Mingle.
should. Gretchen Wieners from Mean Girls is the star.
That feels like an awful movie, right?
Hey,
It's gotta
well,
be.
we can ask her. What's the hot take on Christian Mingle
Yeah,
the movie?
Hot take, you're hearing it here first, folks, from Chelsea
Because
Steele.
nobody else you know has watched it. So,
I've seen the first 15 minutes, and
did she mingle?
she mingled, and nothing
But wasn't
was really
she
working
bad?
out.
Wasn't she like her life was like go getter, career woman, didn't love God,
Right.
Realizes she achieved everything that she thought she wanted, but she was empty inside, and so she wanted to have the
Are you
love
sure
of
you
a real
never
man.
saw this movie?
I read the back cover. I remember this. She was like a career woman who was
Cameron,
chasing
you
the
know
wrong
a lot
things.
about this movie. And anyway, in about 15 minutes in, I read this on the back cover. About 15 minutes in, she gets online, she logs into Christian Mingle, and that's when she sings the things in her message. And here's why I didn't find things believable from what I read on the back cover. Everyone's like, I don't spend 23 minutes a day. If I can't find something within 10, I'm watching Christian Mingle again. I'm dissecting this thing.
You know what? Actually, now that I'm remembering this, when did it come out? A couple years ago? Like, I remember hearing about it, and then it wasn't a white elephant gift. I remember we bought it on Amazon because we were going to have an office screening here in our studio, and we never did.
Wow.
We
Not
need
too
to.
late. It's
Feels
not
like
too
a
late.
nice addition.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
It feels like
it
a
would
punishment.
be here at the office.
It feels like a punishment. Like a headline went out with a headline went out with a typo in it, and the editorial team now has to stay after work and watch Christian Mingle. Like it will. I promise that typo will never happen again. Will never happen again. But I do
like
have a
it.
solution. If
I
you're
like that.
if you're looking for content to watch, and a lot of people do it to unwind and relax. Like sometimes at the end of the day, you just don't want to think about anything. There's a new service that just launched this week that kind of rolls into this, but I'm just kind of throwing it in there. It's called Napflix. And it is a streaming site. The interface looks like Netflix, but it is a curated collection of YouTube's most boring videos so that you can have something to fall asleep to. So here's an example of some of their programming choices. If you're tired and can't fall asleep and want to queue up Netflix, there is a traditional mass in Latin. There's a movie about different kinds of sheep, a film called The Apple Farm, a full documentary on quantum theory, 3 boring hours of an aquarium fish tank, and the 2014 ski jumping tournament. Some of the descriptions, most of the descriptions will start describing it before trailing off to just Z's. But it is a curated collection. It's like this in this
Netflix.
Yeah, so like for one of them that made me laugh was something. It was like the one for quantum theory. It was like Professor so and so from the University of so and so dissects why quantum theory could change the, and it just goes Z. But it's a curated collection of really boring videos for you to take a nap to. If you're 23 minutes in and you can't find anything and you decide it's time to go to sleep, just queue up some Netflix.
No, you need to be careful because I just tried to pull it up. It's napflix.tv. It's .tv.
Yeah, don't go to
everybody.
.com.
.com has a lot of weird languages and it says intrar, and I did not click that
Yeah,
button.
yeah.
Oh, I should
You're
mention
covered in
this.
ice.
I forgot to mention, I was on Netflix.com earlier. My identity was definitely stolen. Immediately I got fraud warnings on my credit card. It's too late. I mean, I'm in a lot of debt
Yeah.
right now. So yeah, it's Netflix.tv.
All right. What do you have, Eddie?
So I wrote an article a couple of years ago for our fair website.
Natflix.com, which again has been taken over.
Natflix.com.
Again, I emailed someone at Natflix.com and they sent me a very unhelpful email back that I wish I hadn't opened, but I'm going to report it again to them because I don't know who else to call. No one else is helping me out. I'm getting deaf ears, falling on deaf ears. So I just got to keep emailing this guy, Sergey, who, like I said, I think he's just messing with me. But he said, I will help you if you you send a scan of your passport. So I did that, and I'm thinking, I think we'll get this resolved. We'll get this resolved pretty soon. So I had to send them my social security card too. So I don't.
Well, yeah, he'd need to be able to. Yeah,
he need to.
You gave the power of attorney
verify
to fix it
that,
for you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's taken my name at this point. He's demanded that. So I'm a little uncomfortable with some of the things that he's asked. But again, my hands are tied here. I mean,
he's helping you out.
Natflix.com look legit. So help me out, Sergey.
Yeah, a good investment is a good investment. What do you have to lose? So a couple years ago, I wrote a story for the website, and
he's thinking about what he has to lose. So that's why
literally
everything.
Literally everything. Everything I've ever worked and hoped for. But that's all. But sometimes you see an opportunity. These opportunities don't present themselves every day. And the Nigerian prince thing, that's going to pay off. A lot of this stuff is going to come to fruition.
Your big investment in Vine.
Your ship's going to come in.
My Vine investment, like I said, I mean, the luck that I had that this guy who has this huge inheritance coming right out of the blue. I mean, he is royalty from what I understand. Again, his communication dropped off after my last 4 payments, but we'll be out of the woods soon. Again, I'm choosing not to worry about it. I'm actually very concerned, and I think I may have done something illegal. But one day at a time. Let's just say this: I got a diverse portfolio. That's all I'll say.
I like that at this point I know the whole flow well enough. I just was like, sit back.
You just sit back, you ride it.
Open a Diet Coke and enjoy the show like everybody else. Just listening to it. I loved it in my own little podcast. So I wrote this article a couple years ago and got a ton of Facebook comments, most of them negative. It was actually probably the most pushback I've ever gotten on it.
Never read the Facebook comments.
I know. We've talked about this.
Chelsea, have you learned this yet?
Oh, yeah.
I read every single one.
Facebook are the worst. The worst
torture.
Things. Yeah,
I think it's kind of funny.
It is the worst.
Really, it hasn't affected you yet?
No.
That's good.
So the article was, "Can I be friends with someone of the opposite sex?" And my answer was, "Oh no." You can, but don't ever be surprised if it blossoms into something more. And people were just infuriated, and mostly they were infuriated.
Hold on, let me ask the context. Are you talking about 2 single people, 2 married people?
That's a very good clarifier. Yeah, I was talking about the question that somebody wrote in was something to the effect of like, my best friend is a guy. It seems like a woman, and they're both single. And it seems like we went from having this great friendship to all of a sudden he is talking about that he
has feelings for
her. And I basically just asserted, and probably a little too strongly in the article, which is
it's your own fault.
Well, this is always what happens. And people were not happy about that. And people used their own examples to say, I've been friends with this person for 20 years. And
But I would agree with you that if there's a close two single people of the opposite sex, there's probably one of them has feelings that the other one is oblivious to.
Certainly.
Yeah. Right?
Oh, yeah, totally. Because
Chelsea, you're single and friends with a lot of men.
Yeah. And?
Do you have unrequited feelings for some of them that they don't know about?
I don't.
That is exactly what this study talks about, because Chelsea probably wouldn't. But the study is confirming what I thought, which is, and what has actually been proven many times before. And I will say that the study comes from the Journal of Evolutionary Psychological Science. So this is not a revelation kind of moment. I'm not endorsing that. I'm just saying they did this interesting study that in particular, men, when they found college students, men and women who were friends and were spending time together. They took them to different rooms and gave them a questionnaire. And they found out a disproportionately high number of the men in the relationship said, yeah, actually, I secretly do have feelings for this woman. And the women, into a completely opposite disproportional amount, said, no, we're actually just really good friends.
Right.
Proving, and this was like the 5th time and the 5th variation of a different study that's been done over the last 10 years, and all of them come back with the same results, which are essentially, sometimes it is just a friendship. Most of the time, it's somebody is romantically into it, and most of the time, that person is the man in the relationship. Of course, this was only studying, heterosexual, single, so there's, a limit to this study, but I thought it was really interesting because I do think that is generally,
Chelsea has a bunch of guy friends. No, I'm not saying you have a bunch of guy friends, but the guy friends of your life, you're like, yeah, we're just buds.
Totally.
But there's probably some of them that really are friends with you.
I'm curious to know why.
Yeah, why is
How
it
come
only
it's not the
guys?
other way
Well,
around?
not only, but primarily according to the study.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because it did not actually explain why men.
You're a counselor and psychologist.
versus
Why don't
women.
you tell us your take?
Yeah, because the interesting thing is there might not be like a quantifiable reason why.
Yeah, I don't know if it's more my guess is that that's probably more of a Western societal thing where it's like a guy would, in a very traditional sense, ask a girl out first, would ask her to marry her. There's a kind of a sense that the guy does the first step. So guys more have their radar up for, should I be making a first step here? Should I be asking here? So they're more thinking in that direction. They're pursuing, I guess. Whether that's right or wrong, I wouldn't care if, I was going to say, I wouldn't care if a woman asked a man out on a date. I know that that's not Southern, but
who cares?
Who cares? I think it's fine. But we're talking just in norms here. I think that's probably part of it. Guys' radars are up for it. There's probably, and so this study actually gets a little weird because it's like evolutionary science. So they're saying that basically this is the way the species evolves. Like they have to be attracted. There is no evolutionary reason why a man and a woman would ever just be platonic. That's when it gets weird to me because I was like, okay, well, you're speaking just in terms of evolution and not in terms of like God's creation of people in relationship with each other. And I think they're missing a huge piece of it. I do really question sometimes if you are both single and like people say like, oh, I would never date my best friend. You're like, why? Why would you not? Isn't that exactly like I dated my best friend, married her, boom. So I just don't. Yeah, it's a. Brienne said at one point, she's like, that if like we ever got married to other people, this friendship that we have wouldn't be like
appropriate.
You can't be best friends with someone of the opposite sex if you're married.
Right.
And I was like, I agree with that, but that's why inside my wedding ring she had engraved BFF, which I always thought was fun,
awesome.
which I always thought was a very sweet thing. But it really does. Like that's the right line to draw. Like if you were dating someone else, would this existing friendship at all be awkward in the context of you being in another relationship?
So, Eddie, the question of the hour is, did you rehash the old Facebook thread, which is long dead and everyone's forgotten their hatred? And did you bring it back up and shove this study right in everyone's face and say, look, science believes me, dummies.
So.
Is that what you did?
This would be a double whammy because it would be not only just bringing up an old painful conversation, but also from a psychological or an evolution journal.
It's interesting that you said that's an old painful conversation.
That's right.
When I read,
that's right.
Listen, I read hateful self-help things I write every single day. Not a day of my life goes by that someone doesn't say something snarky or mean-spirited about something I write. And I literally feel no pain at all, Eddie. So it's interesting that you would call that painful. I just call it life.
We don't have to go too far down this rabbit trail, but I do think it's fascinating when people give feedback. It's typically not because their feedback is negative feedback. It's not because their feedback is wrong. It's because they are seeing it only as it pertains to their specific situation and not as it may pertain to a larger idea. Like people listening to this will go like, oh, I've been best friends with a guy for 20 years and my husband and I are like married. We're like, great. In a specific situation, it worked out, but that's not the rule.
Right.
That's just every once in a while you get to sneak one through.
Right.
It was like a couple weeks ago with the whole church conversation. I got like a lot of pushback on that.
Yeah.
And it was like
church compensation and stuff.
church compensation was like, okay, let's think of it as a broad, but
because we didn't specifically address their context or their particular experience in our conversation, we were missing the bigger point. And we're like, actually, but we were talking about our own perspective and experiences. Like we acknowledge that this was not representative of the universal truth about church compensation.
Very, very hard.
I learned in launching Relevant, this thing didn't exist. What we've tried to do over the last 16 years didn't exist. It was a different lane, and it didn't fit the mold of what was out there. And that, I don't know. I had conviction that we should pursue something else, and got pushback and got criticism and stuff like that. And somebody told me very early on something that helped me on how to deal with criticism. Well, number one, you don't listen to the people who love you and praise you, and don't listen to people who hate you, because they're going to give you a distorted perspective either way.
It's the end of the bell curve.
Yeah, and so you need to listen with one ear. Like, you need to have a conviction about the thing that God's called you to do. You need to pursue it, but you need to be humble enough and teachable enough to take constructive critique as well. So you need to listen, but you need to have a detachment as well, a commitment to the thing that you're pursuing. Listen to others with one ear. Something that I've learned just doing media in the age of social media, I can't read the comments. I don't read the comments at all, because it's too easy to say something. It takes no actual effort to communicate something constructive on Facebook, and you just spat out whatever you feel, right? And you could lob a grenade that you believe or don't believe, and it could decimate the person reading that comment. You know what I mean? Somebody emails us or emails me, I'll always take the time to read it, and I will usually take the time to reply, even if they're ripping me a new one, because I'll at least have the opportunity. Thank you for, explaining where you're coming from. I appreciate you taking the time to write me. Here's where I was coming from. We don't have to agree to agree. I mean, but you shared your heart, and I heard you, and I want you to hear my heart. There you go. And 9 times out of 10, the person who was upset with you just wanted to be heard.
Totally.
And the fact that you take the time to listen just diffuses the whole thing, right?
Especially in the era of social media, and where outrage is fashionable and everyone's looking for microaggressions to vent about. They're looking for things to be offended. They'll read into things and perceive things that aren't there in order to express outrage online, just because that's like this weird cathartic cultural thing that people do, is to find something that someone said that could be perceived as offensive and vent about it, to realize that, look, this is another human being that maybe they did or maybe they didn't make a mistake. Maybe they have an opinion or an idea you don't like. But if this was a face-to-face conversation, would it be the same? And if it's not, then maybe it's better to refrain from, just trying to tear into somebody in a Facebook thread.
Yeah, and that's why I don't read the comments, but I will read the emails, which aren't very common, honestly.
We should talk about this some other time, because I read every comment and have a whole different philosophy on it.
Please tell me. I'm teachable, man. I'm listening with one ear right now.
I was listening with one ear, but it was the wrong ear. I didn't hear a word of all that. I read all...
Eddie's deaf in one ear, by the way.
I read all of the comments because I feel like that gives me the average of generally what the reception was of that thing. But
real quick, Eddie, I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to just correct something there, because I don't feel like that's accurate. And if you don't mind if I tell you why. No. The reason is because comments usually, especially in there's a really interesting philosophy behind social media design, right? So especially on Facebook and now on Twitter, you like something. So your expression that you approve of something is done through these weird engagement metrics that are artificial ways to say that you approve. The way that you disapprove has nothing to do, there is no way to thumbs down something, right? So the only way for people to express disapproval is to say something in the comments. So if you're gauging people's approval of what you did through the comments, it's inaccurate, because there's no way to exactly quantify it. You're not going to get a balance, because let's say an article you wrote gets 10,000 likes, but you have 24 people who are expressing an opinion that is against it. Trying to gauge that as how good the article isn't effective, because Facebook built into itself a different way to approve things that's easier and simple.
I'm not saying how good the article is, because I still
or they like your idea that you say in the article.
No, I think it's is there a correct, I've had a couple articles and someone's like, that actually wasn't the biblical, that wasn't what Paul was saying there. And enough people said it that was I think you may have a point.
I agree with you that sometimes there's a needle in a haystack, where there's a thoughtful, correct, constructive, comment.
Right.
But I've found, given the volume of what we publish or what we do, that the 1 out of 500 comments, that would be beneficial. It is not worth the damage that the $4.99 do to me personally to have to get to the 1. And so I just I can't read the comments. And so hopefully that idea, if a few people have observed that what we published was off, they would take the time to, email us or find another way to contact us and hey guys, I care about what you're doing, but this was off. Great. Yeah. I'm not going to sift through the Facebook comments,
and that's why Eddie, I would because I've seen it too, where I've seen other writers, write something for us and get literally 100,000 Facebook likes, and then they're like, well, there's 200 comments here, and half of these are negative. It's like, well, listen, 200,000 people clicked a button that said they like this, and you have less than 1% of those that are expressing an opinion different. Be open to criticism, but don't put too much value in it. The other thing too is stick to your judgment and stick to your ideas, and be open to criticism, but don't put your self-worth in them. Is my thing. Is don't let that be the validation. If you think it's worth being said and you believe it and you think it's correct, and the people that are giving you a platform put trust in you to put that opinion out there, and obviously there's people that have read it and agree with you, then stick by it and don't let the negativity get to you, because there's anything interesting that you can say is going to have a negative feedback. Otherwise, it's not interesting, right? If you just say things that everybody agrees with, that's not interesting. If you have interesting ideas, there are going to be people who disagree with it, and I feel like putting your too much self-worth in the negative feedback is going to be very destructive personally.
Well, I don't think men and women can really date and not end up having a romantic relationship. And if you don't agree with that, or no,
you're right. I don't think if you end up dating somebody, you probably will have a romantic relationship.
I don't think they can be friends and not have it turn romantic. And if you'd like to respond to that, go to Facebook.
Eddie, I'm going to respond with the thing that I read every single day. That's not original. More like irrelevant. If I have to read that face, I'm going to filter out the word irrelevant after this.
They do say that again a lot, don't they?
Oh, yeah. Not a day goes by. And it can be about anything. Literally anything.
What I don't understand are the people who follow our brand, whose sole purpose is to tear down everything we put out
but here's
by
the thing.
saying more like irrelevant.
Yeah,
it's
but
how about just remove the negativity from your feed, buddy? Just move on. You don't you're not in our lane. That's fine.
I love that we're talking about this on election day.
It's
pretty appropriate.
What they don't understand is they help us way more than they hurt us, because it gets people talking. Look, like I said, if we stand behind the strength of the idea of what we publish, which we do for everything, then fine. Give it all the criticism you want, because all you're doing is exposing it to a broader audience, and we believe in it. So go ahead, try to knock it. All you're doing is opening it up to more people with different ideas.
That's true. They're helping us crack the Facebook algorithm.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah.
What you mean for harm, God is using for good.
Damn. Jesus Jew, tell you like that. Them apples. It's more like you're irrelevant.
All right. Well, I have no segue here. What do you have, Chelsea? The very first slice, everybody.
Here we go.
This
Hot
is it.
slice,
It's all
everybody.
been leading up to this moment.
Diving in. It's a big one. Taco Bell is famous for their fourth meal, which is your meal you can get between the hours of midnight and 4 a.m. And in their Great Britain locations, they are adding a quesadilla filled with Kit Kat bars.
Oh,
You know that's going to be good, though.
Oh, I tried to go this morning
Choco Taco?
just to see.
yeah.
It's the same exact.
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
the same exact formula.
Yeah, I think they're
it's
testing
not.
it out over there.
This isn't a chocolate tortilla, Eddie. This is a regular tortilla.
Toasted tortilla stuffed with
No,
Kit Kat.
but tortillas don't have like a hyper floury taste. They're a little bit salty and sweet.
Sure. I think it's a brilliant idea. I think they're testing it out over there to see if it will do well, and if it does, then they'll bring it over here.
They have the audacity of Taco Bell. First, they try to convince us. Here's the thing. Their marketing team first tried to convince us it's a good idea to wake up in the middle of the night and go buy Mexican food.
I don't think
I
that's
think
that
the
is the
people who are
premise of
getting it
fourth meal.
aren't having to wake up in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think that's the audience
Their
they're
whole
targeting.
role in the fourth meal thing, because we're the only thing that's open. You're hungry, and we have semi-edible food that, in the light of day, would not be edible.
The motto for fourth meal is there's time for one more bad decision.
I'll tell you, Taco Bell did pitch something years ago that was a terrible idea. They had a seafood salad available.
Seafood you can't trust.
That was not, I dove headfirst into looking up failed fast foods after this news.
What did
was
you
announced.
find?
Well, as we all know, the Darth Vader burger was a huge flop at Burger King.
I didn't know about it.
Did you not?
No.
Okay, so they
was
had
the
these.
patty black?
It was pitch black.
Oh, that's right.
Not the
was-
patty, the bun.
The bun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was like a black bean thing?
I have
don't
no
know how
idea
they
how
did
it
it.
was constructed, but it looked
Probably just black
disgusting.
food coloring.
Yeah.
No, it had Ugh.
It was just fungus. It was
Bad
spoiled.
idea.
It's just a reminder that everything is
some old
artificially
buns.
colored.
Yes.
Maybe it was pumpernickel.
McDonald's had a hot dog for a while
Yeah.
that did
Wait.
horribly.
Well, Burger King has a hot dog currently.
Yeah.
Burger King's may do better.
And
but
Checkers and Rallies do, don't they?
I don't know.
It's like a big deal there.
I haven't been to Checkers or Rallies.
McDonald's.
Those are like chili dogs.
No, yeah, this was just like no bells, no whistles, bun, hot dog. But it was brought back in Japan as a breakfast item.
A hot dog.
Yeah, back in 2009. They brought it back. Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll do it for Slices. Stay tuned. Up next, Scott Derrickson joins us.
You don't see why you were, there's no love to give. Well, what goes around comes around. I know sometimes you get so caught in a dream, but now it's time to wake up from this. It's time to make up for it. It's time to wake up from this. Yes, it's time to wake up from this. It's time to make up for it. All we ever do, all we ever do, is all we ever knew.
You're listening to The Head and the Heart. The song is All We Ever Knew. Well, this week's feature interview is brought to you by Squarespace. Whether you need a landing page, a beautiful gallery, a professional blog, or an online store, it's all included with your Squarespace website. Building a site with Squarespace is easy, even if you have no idea what you're doing. You can use some of their beautiful templates. You could do a best-in-class online store. You can customize whatever settings you want. You can do code or no code, and it's all there without a single plugin. They have great commerce tools if you're doing a store. They have awesome customer support as well. And if you sign up for a year, you get a free custom domain with your Squarespace site. You can start your free trial today at squarespace.com and enter the offer code RELEVANT to get 10% off your first purchase. That's squarespace.com, offer code RELEVANT. Scott Derrickson is an acclaimed filmmaker known for directing supernatural horror movies, including Sinister, The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and Deliver Us from Evil.
Too scary, all of it.
Recently, I know I haven't seen any of them.
I'm sure it's
I
great,
hear good
but-
things.
I'm sure it's great.
Recently, he's made the jump to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU, writing and directing the franchise's latest epic, Doctor Strange, which currently holds a 91% rating on Rotten Tomatoes and is, as Jesse said, the biggest film in the world right now. In the new issue of Relevant, we talked to Derrickson about the spiritual messages of the film, what sets Doctor Strange apart from the Avengers, and how his Christian faith informs his creative choices as a filmmaker. Here is part of that interview.
There are so many superhero movies coming out. I mean, it's like 4 or 5 a summer, it seems like. So for you, departing from your typical genre, what is it about Doctor Strange that made you think you could, offer something unique based on what's already out there?
I mean, my interest in the comic goes back a long time, because I grew up reading comics and most of the Marvel comics, and I always loved Doctor Strange uniquely. And it was, I think, the presence of the fantastical, the presence of the supernatural that was in it. The idea of magic being a component that was very unique to more scientifically or biologically rooted superpowers. And I also was always really just taken with the Doctor Strange character himself, a character who had been on top of the world with everything, was kind of a jerk, and and through a gauntlet of pain and suffering, really learned to grow, for lack of a better word, spiritually and overcome himself. I thought that character in the middle of a fantastical, magical, mystical, psychedelic world, which is what you get in the comics, was just amazing material for a fresh kind of superhero movie.
I'd like to talk a little more about the story and character development elements that you have going on here. If you don't mind me being as bold as to try and put a theme to your body of work, I mean, I would say, dark versus light, good versus evil, these kind of clear clashes of supernatural forces coming to a head. With a movie like Doctor Strange, though, where it seems to be a little bit more about one man and his internal struggles, how did those kind of themes play out when they're not these big external forces necessarily?
It's about the circumstances that they're having to overcome and what they're having to learn. I mean, I think that every good there've been a lot of good boxing movies, in the history of cinema, and there's always the top contender that your hero's got to fight at the end, But no good boxing movie is about that conflict. It's really always about an individual finding out who they are, what they're capable of. Are they strong enough to build themselves up to be able to accomplish something like that? And I think in this case, it's great because it's not about physical achievement. It's not about character manifesting itself in physical strength. It really is about getting past one's own ego and coming to recognize that true growth and true power comes from a sense of surrender to something greater than yourself and service to something greater than yourself. These are very lofty ideas, but we really felt that Doctor Strange was interesting because he was a character who went through that journey, and it's a mystical journey, and it's a journey of mystical and spiritual power and growth, because the powers that he ends up acquiring as a superhero are mystical, magical, mind-bending powers that have a component of inexplicability to themselves, and so all of it feels very organic, and it feels like the kind of character story that you would tell in a movie about magic.
Because Doctor Strange is so different than similar superhero movies, in the terms that he's dealing more in the supernatural than in this naturalistic or even scientific type world, were you able to draw on existing superhero models in terms of film, or what was kind of your approach in terms of drawing from what's already out there?
I mean, I love superhero movies. I've had a Marvel wallet for 4 years, and what they've been doing has been really exciting for me to watch, and I love a lot of the DC films as well. I think that I was coming from a place that I think probably most of the audience was coming from, which was, I'm ready for something new. I'm ready for. I need some left turns now. Some like hard left turns. Deadpool was a hard left turn. I think people respond. I think it was a really good movie, but I think that the overwhelming response to that movie was the fact that it was a really good movie, and it was just so wildly different. It was such a breath of fresh air compared to what had been around it for quite a while. And with Doctor Strange, I was only interested in doing it if we were going to be really bold and take a hard left turn and just try to create a world and set pieces and characters that did not feel like they were the same thing that we've seen before, but rather we're offering up some surprising new approaches, to both characters and to action.
I want to talk just finally about yourself a little bit. You've been pretty vocal about your own faith, and I think I even read somewhere that you grew up a fundamentalist Baptist background, even doing, I think, Bible drills out at Bob Jones University and that kind of thing. And then you've been on a journey since. How does that play out when it comes to filmmaking for you, particularly in a film like this that would have so many spiritual elements?
Well, it's evolving as I get older. I certainly just continue to move further and further away from having any impulse or desire to express my own view of things and my own point of view. I'm much more interested in challenging myself by what it is that I'm working on, what it is that I'm writing. And when you look at Doctor Strange, the philosophical ideas that are rooted in the comics are, primarily Hindu and Buddhist, and I really took that seriously and took time to read. I have a background in religious philosophy, so I'd read plenty of Hindu and Buddhist literature in the past. But I was really interested in the truths that I could find there, and in this age where the word Christian conjures up angry, vocal, closed-minded Christians, and the word atheist conjures up images of angry, closed-minded atheists. And I just, all of these terms just become fighting words. I really like the idea that the comics and the movie, therefore, could just be a third thing where we're talking about magic and we're talking about mysticism, we're talking about possibilities and other realities, in places where we all know, ideas, religious ideas and scientific ideas overlap, even though we're not really playing with that either in this movie. We're not explaining magic scientifically. Magic is magic. But I can't help but view the world mystically. It's how I see it. I'm not a strict materialist. I think there's much more to the world than what we do with our five senses. And so, I'm a good choice for this material because I feel the world that way. But even if you don't, I certainly made the movie for everyone to try to make that jump and enjoy the ride of possibilities of what could be out there, and to do it in a way that wasn't presenting a point of view, just really challenge anyone else's point of view, but rather to articulate what we all know, which is that we all need to grow. We all have to get past ourselves. We're all capable of being more than we presently are, and the effort that it takes, and the will that it takes, and sometimes the trauma and tragedy that it takes to force us into that kind of growth is the story of our lives. And to do something that's that spiritual and that personal and that meaningful in the context of a gigantic, entertaining, mind trip, psychedelic action film, that's the kind of movie I want to see, And I think that much more than anything else I've ever done, this movie is far less an expression of my view of things, and it is a movie of discovery of things that I discovered in the process of making it, things that I discovered in the comics, discovered with the actors, discovered with the writers. It was a really beautiful growing process for me as an individual to go through this whole arduous journey of making a movie this size about a character of growth, and it was psychedelic and invigorating and traumatic and extremely fun, and I certainly have come out the other side a different person, as a result of it. And that's what you hope for when you invest 2 years into a creative project.
Was Scott Derrickson. Make sure to check out Doctor Strange. It's everywhere now. And read more about him and the film and his story in the new issue of Relevant, which is out now. You're listening to Shura. The song is Make It Up, which is what we do for most of this podcast, honestly. Music duo Gungor recently wrapped their most ambitious project of their career, a trilogy of albums called One Wild Life, themed around the concepts of soul, spirit, and body. Each installment is comprised of a worshipful collection of songs that explore a holistic view of life, pain, and a relationship with God. We recently spoke with Michael and Lisa Gungor about the latest release, Body, how Trilogy was inspired by the most difficult year of their lives, and how one of their career's biggest controversies led them to a new kind of creative freedom. Here is our conversation with Michael and Lisa Gungor.
Well, we were going to do a single record, like a year and a half ago, whatever it was, and we had so many songs, and we had just come out of the hardest year of our lives, 2014, and we just had we found that suffering often for us produces a lot of the way we cope and deal with it and navigate through it. A big part of it for us is art and writing. Mm-hmm. And so we had all this stuff coming out as a result of all the suffering that we had experienced in 2014. And we didn't know how to cut any of it out because it all seemed important to talk about all these kind of how we'd shifted our perspectives and how lives had changed and a lot of the ways that we were seeing the world. We just wanted to write about it all, but one album seemed like too small to do it. So finally stumbled across or were handed, however it works in the old creative world of muses and brains, about an album trilogy, and we thought it'd be a fun and crazy thing to try.
Was really difficult for us, among a bunch of stuff. we had a very dear friend pass away tragically, and we didn't have a place to live for a little while, and we had a big social media blow up that happened, and then we also had a beautiful baby girl who is amazing. But we didn't know when I was pregnant with her. She was born with Down syndrome and 2 heart defects. So it just floored us, and we quite honestly just never thought we would be parents of a child with special needs. You know, that's one of those things you always feel like happens to other people. And so we were totally floored and devastated because we didn't know if she was going to live past her surgeries and what our life was going to look like. And so it felt like the whole world had just flipped upside down. Within the span of, you know, all these things were happening probably within 6 months of each other, all within the year 2014. We processed life through writing songs and also through everything that we were walking through. We quickly began to realize how we were the blind people, kind of going through life looking for sight and grasping it here and there. But then for me especially, realizing how I so compartmentalized what a good life is and what a happy life is for people, and what a full life is and people who contribute to the goodness of humanity. And I realized on a very deep, profound level how wrong I was about how I was viewing life. I know that sounds vague to say all of life, but we've been on this journey that we feel like has opened our eyes to so many human issues and how we approach our humanity. And when you try to push away suffering and pain, even people with how we categorize people with special needs as having some kind of lesser life than everybody else, like we really are cutting off a big piece of our humanity and what suffering has to teach us, what pain has to teach us, and what I really feel like the community that we have found of people with special needs has already taught us so much. Our daughter's only 2. She's 2 years old, but it's already our life is like totally changed because of her, and because of all the stuff that we walked through. So
everything is broken, everything is pain, everything is dark and pointless. What is there to say? Everything is empty, everything will die, you and I. See the night, see the sunrise, see the love, see the heartbreak, you and I, we will be alright.
So we started with the soul record, and which to me, you know, soul is sort of the essence of a person, the emotions, the wrestling, the suffering. Mm-hmm. And but rather than just try to divide it, because I was born in a way that I was raised in a way that really fragmented these ideas. Like, you are spirit, you have a soul, you live in a body. That's what my children's teachers would tell me. I think that's a fragmented view of reality. So we wanted the albums not to be too hard cut between each other, but to kind of demonstrate the point that it's all one thing. We let the themes bleed into each other. So Soul started with soul and then kind of bled into more of a spirit thing towards the end of it. And then same thing, spirit started with spirit and then kind of bled into a body thing at the end of it. And then body kind of bled into a soul thing at the end of it, whatever those things are. And that was what the part of the fun was. Because it's all just one thing, but these are lenses that we see the one thing through.
for body, I feel like it took on a different thing than the other first two, because it tells a story even within itself. So it's like it's part of these other two, but then we start, we're talking about birth, and we go through the different stages of life and through consciousness and toddler stage, see me, look at me, I need attention. And then, the teenager building up the ego, wanting fame, 15 the 15 seconds of fame and people just needing this approval from the world, and then coming to a place of letting the ego go, and you're entering adulthood and you finding that these ideals and climbing the corporate ladder, your idea of success falls apart, right? And you're finding who you truly are and what the trueness of life is. And that a lot of times you even had as a baby, and that you've lost that, you know. So these different stages we go through life itself, we talk about within body. My favorite one on the album is called Tree, and Michael wrote it. And that speaks specifically to body shame. As a woman, and knowing what that feels like growing up and your body's changing, and then feeling like, even just within culture, but specifically, you know, within different religious circles, this idea of what you should look like and how much skin you should show and shouldn't, and what's appropriate, and how if a man is looking at you, it's your fault. And, you know, it speaks to that issue of body shame. I love the line that says, "Did the tree of life despise its branches? Seek to save its soul." I put that one word right there.
But hate the bark.
Hate the bark.
Yeah.
Seek to save its soul, but hate the bark. So this idea of like, no, I just am. And especially, like, I mean, I have 2 little girls now, and, you know, travel in a band that plays music, and this feeling that people want you to look good, and they will judge you if you don't. And especially, but within music, the young and the new is always like the best, right? And I think it's important to see that for what it is, and see our bodies for the beautiful creations they are.
Did the tree of life divorce its body? Seek to save the soul, but hate the bark. Long for freedom from its branches. Despise the roots that plumb the dark. Our trees ashamed of needing sunlight. Feeling guilt for being what they are.
That was Gungor. Make sure to check out their trilogy called One Wild Life. The new album, Body, is out now.
I see her in every place I go. Sunday love is so cold. Even though I'm falling apart, on Sunday love in my heart. I see her in every place I go. Sunday love is so cold. Even though I'm falling apart, on Sunday love in my heart.
You're listening to Bat for Lashes. The song is Sunday Love, which is about going to church. So last week's question of the week was a little bit different. We brought Chelsea on to talk about the fact that she's doing our social media now. She's doing the Facebook, the Twitter, but she's also on the Instagram. Now, we haven't really fired up the feed of where we're going with Instagram, but we are playing in the weird shadows of Instagram and the Instagram stories right now. We're also going to be firing up, the old Snapchat machine and the old Pinterest board and doing a bunch of other stuff too.
Yeah.
So now that Chelsea's here, we're gonna have a lot of fun in the social media space.
Vine.
We had a huge Vine strategy.
We spent weeks getting that ready, and I invested even more. And
You don't want to even know how many doves we killed by squeezing them too hard and then threw them at a funeral.
Can I be honest? None of ours were that funny. They were pretty dark, and Vine immediately banned
timing
them.
is low.
But it's throwing noodles at the wall here, guys. You got to
live and
try to
learn
figure
with
out.
social media. You just got to try stuff. So anyway, we asked you suggestions for Chelsea about what content do you want to see from Relevant on the Snapchat and Instagram stories specifically, the odd underbelly of our social media universe. And so you guys replied. This was all the feedback we got this week. Here's a few of our favorite ideas.
Peter S. gave a wonderful, terrible idea, which was show us selfies of the Relevant staff election ballots, which would just bring down the whole ship. I just love how
The
damaged.
entire staff is in prison now.
Yeah.
Addison just said, prank Cameron.
Oh, great.
Well, I also, this isn't related to the question of the week, but it's something I saw a lot on social media. After Halloween and all these people had access to tons of, bite-sized candy, lots of people are tweeting us pictures of 100-gram bars to let us know they still exist and that they're sad that we maligned them.
No,
2
here's the
weeks ago.
thing that people on Twitter need to understand. When we go off on some tangent theorizing about something real, don't confuse us with facts. Don't correct us and tell us no 100-gram bars are popular
Because
everywhere.
nobody believes that those pictures are real.
Our theory is much better than reality. Just let us live in our little thought bubble and don't confuse us with reality.
And I wish 100-gram bars still existed.
They would be delicious if we could just find any, but we apparently have to go to Hawaii.
They're all in Hawaii, despite photographic clear evidence.
No, photoshopped.
A lot of people responded to the gender pay inequality conversation, and everybody was talking about the Freakonomics podcast, which
That's right, which was really helpful. Did you listen to it?
I didn't yet.
I did.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was great. It actually settled it. It explained why the gender wage gap exists.
Yeah.
The gender norms thing, the societal stuff. It was fantastic. Freakonomics did a great podcast on it. If you guys want to continue that discussion,
It's there literally everywhere on podcasts.
and then go over, if I might suggest, go over to the Freakonomics Facebook page and post willy-nilly whatever you think about their content.
But make sure to get personal with whoever's byline is on there.
Yeah.
Like personally attack them because that really gets your point across and endears you. Also, I'd feel remiss if we didn't mention Mallory, who was a guest on our show that we called.
Yeah.
What was it? 3 weeks ago, Chelsea?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago we called our friend Malpal.
That's right.
And she pitched a disturbing idea for a Halloween costume in which she would dress up as a hot dog vending tiny cooked humans. And we all were aghast. And she went through with it and sent pictures. And it's a fantastic, weird costume. So that's on Twitter as well. You can check those out.
All right. Well, you guys sent a lot of good suggestions. Did you see any that you're going to actually do?
Yeah, a lot of people want to see different variations of behind the scenes.
Okay.
So I'll be including that.
I think people should have. I was hoping people were going to lob questions that they want you to then ask the staff, or challenges that they want you to do.
I'd like pitch it again.
So I think this is one that we need to leave open ended. We want more feedback from you guys of what you want to see Chelsea do, or challenge her to do on the weird underbelly of our social media persona, which is Snapchat and Instagram stories. So people ask what our Snapchat name is. We're not there yet. We just use it for the funny filters and we post it over on Instagram. So
yeah, we're figuring that out.
We'll make the jump over soon.
yeah, we'll make the jump over soon.
Very soon.
Yeah. With actual content, not just weird stuff.
But I will say I am on Instagram and I do interact with anyone who sends us a direct message. So if you have an idea or a question that you want to pose to someone,
Or you want to give brutal, awful, mean feedback about anything we've done,
Irrelevant.
just DM us directly and Chelsea will read it and cry.
Yeah, and just look for articles that Eddie wrote first. So just kind of hone the response towards them. He's got a lot of radical ideas that I think you could have some fun
Real
with.
radical.
So just focus there.
All right. Well, that'll do it for last week's feedback. It's time for this week's
editorial question of the week. Hey.
Okay. Well, earlier in the show, we spent quite a bit of time talking about the intergender dynamics of guy-girl friendships, single Recipe for disaster.
As a statement of fact for all people that should never...
With no exceptions.
No exceptions. This is about... Lady that's listening, man that's listening, this is about you specifically.
You specifically.
And I set up a
so
bunch
we want
of...
you to object and be offended?
You are making a mistake.
I set up a bunch of fake Facebook profiles to catfish Eddie and troll him in the comments section. That's how much I disagree.
Yeah. So we want to know from you any friend zone horror stories that you have had or experienced. You're going along, you got your pal, your gal pal, your guy pal, and all of a sudden...
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, we want to know you're the most awkward horror stories.
But I like
you guys have made me so self-conscious about saying horror.
You should be.
Well,
yeah.
We want to hear like where one person's friend zoned and the other person doesn't know it.
Doesn't know it.
Yeah.
But hardcore. Like someone brings flowers to just we thought we were hanging out and the other person brings flowers. Something that just there was like a 180 on it.
This is a date. Okay.
I want to know Chelsea's.
You want me to tell it
Yes,
now?
I do.
Why wouldn't you?
I was with a guy who I had been friends with for a very long time.
Is he like a high five friend, a fist pump friend? Side hug?
I
no.
am real implemental of the fist bump. If I'm really skeptical of how things are going, shoulder punch. Implement a phrase like, "Hey, little guy,
dude, bro,
yeah, sport champ, buddy."
I liked a girl once she was like, "Yeah, bro," or "Yeah, dude," and I was like, "Well, there's that." Yeah,
done.
So I am with this dude, and he and I are hanging out, and he seemed really frustrated, and we had just come from hanging out with one of our friends who liked this girl for a long time and has never said anything to her, and she is also interested in him. So I asked my friend, like, "Why are you upset?" And he was like, "Well, our friend's really upset, and it's just really like, I don't know, bringing me down. I just really want to see him happy." And I was like, "I know it really frustrates me that he doesn't say anything." I was like, "If you like someone, like, you should just say something."
Oh no.
I know. And I was like, I think it would work out really well for him, because you never know how the other person feels, because I know that.
Yeah, she likes him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my friend was like, "Do you really think that?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." Knowing we're talking about the other party and both people are interested. And he was like, "Well, I guess now is a good time to tell you, Chelsea, that I've had a crush on you for a few years. And I don't know, like I've always kind of felt that like we would be a thing." It was bad.
And you didn't know it at all.
No idea.
What did you do though?
I was driving in a
She
car with
shoulder
him.
punched him.
I was driving the
Oh,
vehicle.
you're so
Please
silly,
please tell me you unbuckled and you like slowed to like a decent speed and just jumped out and just rolled
Jumped out
away
of the
down the
car.
street and let the car just
Jesse,
drift
it
into a
is as if you were
dumpster.
there.
That's crazy.
That's painful. I had a friend, a good friend in college, and 100% platonic, just a friend, just a pal, sister. And we graduated, we moved to other states, didn't keep in touch, just a college friendship. And she emails me or something, says like, "Hey," I was living in Nashville. She's like, "Hey, I'm coming through Nashville. I'd love to grab dinner or something, catch up." I was like, "Oh yeah, me too." So we met up, and around, talking, catching up. And around 11 o'clock, she finally musters up the courage, and she says, "I was just wondering if there was ever any possibility of something happening between us or whatever," right? And I'm like, "No." Find out the next the next week she got engaged. She came, like, she apparently had feelings for me all throughout, and I was the one. And then she had to just make sure. And then once that door was fully shut, she said yes to the guy, and they got married.
No.
My favorite move though is when people
God.
are like, when the guys are like, "I feel like God's calling us to be together."
Yeah, you're like, "What? What God are you talking to?"
Yeah, I don't get the confirmation of my spirit, brother. I don't feel
Yeah. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but there's just, you don't start off like that. And to the person who that has actually happened to and it's worked for, I was speaking specifically to you and to your situation.
Again, if you don't mind, go heading over to Eddie's Facebook page and just really venting. Really, I mean, anything that pops into your head, say. That's my thing.
So we want to know your friend zone horror stories. Enunciation is important on that word. Hit us up on the podcast episode page at relevantmagazine.com, and also you can tweet us at relevantpodcast on the Twitter. We'll read our favorites next week. Many thanks to the show sponsors for making this possible. Audible.com. Remember, you can get a 30-day free trial for Relevant Podcast listeners by signing up at audible.com/relevant. And thanks also to Squarespace. You can set your website apart and start your free trial today at squarespace.com. Enter offer code RELEVANT to get 10% off your first purchase when you decide to pay for it. Thanks to our guests who joined us this week. Remember, Scott Derrickson's little indie flick called Doctor Strange hits theaters this weekend. You can follow him on Twitter at Scott Derrickson. And thanks also to Michael and Lisa Gungor. Make sure to follow them on Twitter at Gungor Music. And remember their trilogy, One Wild Life. The album Body is out now.
I like them. They are feisty.
They're the best.
Yeah, they're really
They really
cool.
are. I've known them for years. They are just
They
good
do
people.
really interesting work.
They really do. And it's important.
It
You know what I mean?
is-
That's why we love covering them. I love when good people who are thoughtful, who care about creating great art, actually like we can cover it and like promote it and like
And well,
go
and
check it out,
we
y'all.
didn't plan this conversation about online feedback, but I mean, part of their story involves, a kind of a controversy that led to some artistic revelations, which obviously you heard in the interview. So yeah, always pushing the envelope. Really
same
interesting.
thing. Same thing for Eddie. I mean, it really is a deep parallel between what happened with Gungor and what happened with Eddie.
Yeah, I mean, like, my tweets have totally changed.
Yeah, and he put Eddie also put out an album about the body.
It's
very different from the Gungor.
It was
very
a very
different.
specific album.
It's called Eddie's is called Body Sounds. And it's exactly what the title insinuates.
much like the
I don't know
Dylan-
how it's a response to online criticism.
Much
but,
like the Dylan
it's out
album,
there.
it's a mutation and evolution of some original
it's-
source material.
I'll say this: there's nothing else like it on the internet right now, and that is saying something.
Yeah,
I mean, it is
the bootlegs are wildly disturbing. They're actually
body sounds
because for years they kept evolving.
Yeah,
like Dylan.
It's terrifying.
Yeah. Hey, the new issue of Relevant is out now. Make sure to pick it up. It just hit newsstands nationwide. We'd love your support. We think you'll really like the issue. Like I said, the Scott Derrickson article is in there. Also, Andrew Garfield and Mel Gibson are the cover story. Their amazing film, which also has a 91% Rotten Tomatoes rating. Look at that, 2 for 2.
It just sounds of me like doing like 2 minutes of clicking my jaw in the morning after I brush my teeth and coughing a
But
little
with
bit.
the light strumming of guitar underneath it.
Right. Kind of clearing out my nose and maybe doing this,
weird,
saline.
a weird guttural sound.
Doing saline,
But it's amazingly melodic. It sounds like a Dave Matthews
Knuckle
Band
popping,
soft
yeah.
ballad behind it.
I want you to hear how creaky this knee is, and it's just a little. You got to turn it up really loud, but it sounds like he injured it at some point.
Yeah, I had a meniscus surgery on that about 8 years ago, and it still has a little.
I'm going to let you get
click.
a real close listen for
Really?
the next 4 minutes.
You're going to want to run this through a nice hi-fi system to get some of that low end, but here it goes. And it's just
Here's me just blowing weird like.
Yeah,
I mean it counts. I'm out of ideas here. So
he recorded that one at the top of the stairs. After he briskly went up the stairs.
Briskly went up
Hit
the
record.
stairs.
Okay, yeah. This is me. I'm doing a butterfly kiss to the microphone. It's my eyelashes against the microphone for 5 consecutive minutes. And it's body sounds.
The Body by Eddie Koppel. Available exclusively on his Facebook page.
Oh, man.
For download. And please comment after you listen to it. Like I said, the new issue of Relevant's out now. There's some great articles in there. We'd love for you to pick it up, check it out, tell us what you think. We actually care about your feedback. You can subscribe now at relevantmagazine.com, or if you got a tablet, Android or iPad tablet, you can check out the interactive edition there in the app stores. It's pretty awesome. On that note, we'll wrap it up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Eddie Koffoltz.
I'm Chelsea Steele.
I'm Chandler Strang.
I'm Jesse Carey.
We'll see you guys next week.
Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy, and there is no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. In a jingle jangle morning, I come following you.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Connect with us on Twitter at Relevant Podcast and get bonus material from this episode and more at the podcast section on relevantmagazine.com. And don't forget to check the magazine out. It's available on newsstands and at the iTunes App Store, or you can subscribe online at relevantmagazine.com/subscribe.
And take me disappearing through the smoke rings of my mind, down the foggy ruins of time, far past the frozen leaves, the haunted, frightened trees, out to the windy beach, far from the twisted reach of crazy sorrow. Yes, to dance beneath the diamond sky with one hand waving free, silhouetted by the sea, circled by the circus sands, with all memory and fate driven deep beneath the waves.
Here's me just blowing weird, like